I'm going to do my speaking from over here, so hopefully you can all hear. And it stops you interrupting me and getting drinks. There's a lot of familiar faces around. We did this 5 years ago on the 50th anniversary of Robert Burns. And there were 14 of us crammed in a corner of the old Ebbet Grill. And that night I had to compete with other diners. I had to compete with industrial vacuum cleaners going on in the background. And most of all, I had to compete with my total and absolute ignorance of Robert Burns and the Oracle of Burns evenings. 5 years later, we have a great room, a great audience, we have great lung-free haggis. I discovered yesterday that the essential issue with haggis in America is lungs. You can buy assault weapons, you can't buy lungs. Lungs are quite unacceptable. So we have some Texan lung-free haggis. So if you came for the lungs, I'm really sorry.
But we can auction a rifle.
And as for my ignorance of Robert Burns, nothing a little bit of Wikipedia can't solve. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm David Humphreys. I studied literature at King's College, Cambridge from 1995 to 2000. In various forms. I bowed out of my PhD a week before it began. My PhD in Scottish literature at Cambridge. Kind of wrong idea. And 12 years later, through London, Japan, and God help us, Delaware, I'm here. I'm the chairman of the society, but don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I do any work. And the work is all done by the board. So my thanks to the board, Blair and Cecilia. Who have been involved and will be involved and will be doing bits of speaking and processing money and doing bits of the haggis. Thank you all. It couldn't happen without you doing all the work. A little bit of a, I was just going to say I'm chosen as a chairman for my impeccable English heritage and my imposing height. A little bit of a word on the order. If you've been here before, we usually kind of cram the speech in between ordering the food and eating it because it was kind of hard to hear with other diners. We're more to the traditional order tonight. So we'll just take it as it comes. And we'll be doing speeches and poetry throughout the evening. So every so often you'll hear a glass being tapped. And I think first of all though, I want to ask Pete to talk briefly about the silent auction, silent raffle thing. Can you do that, Pete?
Very simple, guys. It's becoming a big tradition. Apparently, you guys like silent auctions. You like crazy like them, apparently. So, anyway, so we're doing it again. We have some great stuff. We have a sporin flask. We have 2 maps of Scott.
Is this a sporin flask?
Oh,
right. Is it full?
Now with more sporin. Yes, whatever that is. And then 2 maps of Scotland. The 1895 and the 1885, which is laying down.
Massive geological change between those.
We have a picture of Cambridge, a printed Cambridge.
Is that this
the old
one?
Cambridge, the old town.
Very nice.
Yeah, the heartstrings are warming. And then we have cans of haggis for all you can't get enough. Still one. Nothing breathed its last taste. And then we have a box of truffles. Now the way we're going to do it, guys, it's just like a waiter's check. What you do is each item has a check. So what you do is you just write your name and your bid on whatever you'd like. I'm going to pass it around. And then we'll announce the winners at the end. So let the games begin.
Thank you, Pete. And Chris, do you want to talk into this?
One more announcement. There's the bra, nicht the nicht. That last bit's cockney Scottish. I know less about Scotland than David does. My Scottish is limited to watching Dr. Finley's Casebook for 6 years when I was growing up. Anybody else remember Dr. Finley's Casebook? Right, can't do that. Okay. My function is to do the newbie introductions, which is our tradition at these events. If you are new to DC, if this is your first Cambridge event, we'd like you to stand, tell us your name and your college. And anybody else in the room who's older and who went to the same college, Your job is to go up to that newbie and tap them on the elbow sometime during the evening and introduce yourself and welcome to DC and share your knowledge living in the area. So everybody understand the routine? Let's start. Any newbies over here? First timers? You want to table this? Just not
Liz Blaze, Queens College.
Andy Robertson, Malden College.
Okay, any other Queens and Magdalen people sit down, raise your hands. Okay, tap them afterwards. So, anybody else on that team?
Daniel Gallagher. I studied in Clare College last year, and I'm from Kirkcaldy.
I'm from the third one, so it's fine. Yeah, different.
I'm getting there, hold on. Who other tables me?
My name is John Lynn, and I'm Queen's College, 1995.
Yay!
Diana Marsh, Newman College, 2010.
One here.
Stand up. My name's David Carroll. I was a thanks fellow at Roots College in 2000.
The final thing I'd like to do is... Oh, I'm sorry.
We got two.
Daniel Horowitz, Selwyn.
Say that again?
Say it again.
Say it again. Daniel Horowitz, Selwyn 91.
Anna Quiter from Churchill, 2011.
James Gilmore, Downing, 1967.
All of you from those colleges go up and introduce yourself to those people in the evening. Final thing I'd like to do is, it's Burns night. We have some people in the room who have really decked themselves out in the traditional tartans, and we ask them to stand and thank them for adding to the evening and displaying it.